Patriots Nation, the energy in Foxborough feels different tonight. We've got a rookie trying to reinvent himself in this offense, big changes in the protection around Drake May, and a coaching staff working quietly in the background. Along with that comes pressure, doubt, and that quiet fear that the season could slip away on one small mistake. Is this group really ready to start a brand new chapter in Patriots history? You're not going to believe what we've got today, so sit down, hit that like button, and let's dive into the latest out of New England. Some players in New England become a talking point not because of what they already are, but because of what they might still become. Kyle Williams is exactly that kind of story. He arrived as a third-round pick, tagged as the pure speed guy, the vertical threat who could stretch the field and become that explosive outlet for Drake May. A lot of fans circled his name as the swing piece that could change how this offense attacked downfield. But the summer didn't match the hype. Quiet practices, few standout moments, and his space in Josh McDaniels' playbook shrinking as other receivers seized their opportunities. Even so, when the ball hits Williams in stride, you can see why the team bet on him. That 72-yard touchdown against the Bucs in Week 10 was exactly the kind of chunk play that flips a game and makes everyone ask, why isn't this guy on the field more often? But his snap count didn't explode after that. The coaching staff clearly trusts the unexpected production from the rest of the receiver room, and for now, treats Williams more as a long-range project than a full-time weapon. Where his story really changes is on special teams. Against the Bengals, he delivered another reminder that he can be a dangerous returner, the kind of player who changes field position in one touch and breaks open a tight game before May even steps into the huddle. If he keeps that up, there's a real chance he just stole the primary return job for the rest of the season and turned himself into a weekly X factor. That's where the Foxborough dilemma kicks in. Part of the fan base is frustrated. No one dreams of using a relatively high draft pick just to only end up with a return specialist. The other part is more cold-blooded. If you're seriously thinking about a deep playoff run, every yard of field position matters. And a dynamic returner can be the difference between winning a primetime game in January or going home early. The truth is, unlike some receivers New England has taken early in recent years, Williams has already shown real flashes. He has the speed, he has the skill set, and he's in an offense that finally looks like it's finding an identity with Drake May under center. When we say a season is built on the smallest details, this offensive line is the perfect example. The unit hit its physical limit, lost key pieces, and suddenly every move up front became a matter of survival. In that context, the arrival of Thayer Munford Jr. carries more weight than most people realize. He's not walking in as a star, but he's someone who's already faced top-tier pass rushers, logged real snaps, and knows Josh McDaniels' system from their time together in Las Vegas. That cuts down the learning curve and reduces risk at a moment when protecting Drake May is absolutely non-negotiable. At the same time, losing Alex Austin to injured reserve lit up an immediate warning sign. He wasn't the headline name in the secondary, but he was steady and filled an important role in nickel packages where one missed assignment can mean a huge play over the top. Losing that kind of rotational piece in November hurts more than people realize, and the fan base felt it right away, because they know secondary depth always becomes a critical talking point down the stretch. Bill Murray came back to the practice squad, and even though that doesn't make national headlines, inside Foxborough it matters. He's a Patriot way player, versatile, disciplined, willing to switch positions just to keep contributing. Guys like that don't show up on highlight reels, but they help hold the locker room together and plug gaps when something goes wrong at the last second. Jonathan Ward didn't share the same fate. His departure sent a clear message that the backfield rotation is set, and there's no room to carry players who aren't part of the plan on Sundays. In the end, this sequence of moves reveals something bigger about where this team is mentally. The staff is reacting quickly, with clarity and without panic. They're protecting the most important asset in the franchise, Drake May, and reinforcing areas that could completely collapse in December if they ignored the warning signs. These aren't the types of adjustments that rack up likes on social media, but they are exactly the moves that win tight games when it's cold and everyone's banged up. And here's the wildest part: The feeling that the puzzle is shifting up front might not even be the biggest change happening inside the building. There is something happening with this Patriots coaching staff that a lot of people outside New England still haven't fully grasped. The difference in posture, organization, and maturity compared to the chaos of 2024 is huge, and it doesn't just come from talent on the field, it comes from the brains behind every call. When you put Mike Vrabel, Josh McDaniels, Doug Marrone, Terrell Williams, Thomas Brown, Todd Downing, and Ben McAdoo in the same room, you don't have a normal staff. You have a room full of former head coaches, former coordinators, and people who have basically seen everything the NFL can throw at you. That shows up every week in how this team responds in critical moments. The defense almost always looks one step ahead. The offense, even with limitations at certain spots, shows weekly adjustments that simply didn't exist a short time ago. And the locker room energy is different, calmer, more confident, more professional. Patriots fans know when the culture is actually changing, and this feels like one of those turning points. Then a name popped up that nobody expected to see connected to New England so soon: Shane Bowen. After a brutal season with the Giants, he was fired, turned into a meme online, and became an easy target for criticism. Most fan bases would write him off immediately, but through the lens of Mike Vrabel, he still makes sense. Their relationship goes way back, built at Ohio State and solidified in Tennessee. And Bowen has already proven he can put together tough, disciplined defenses, especially against the run, something that's always been a core part of the Patriots' identity. The detail that grabbed the attention of Patriots Nation was one simple line from Vrabel: "He's a close friend. He's a good coach." In New England, that's not just a throwaway compliment. When the head coach talks like that, it usually means a door's open somewhere. Maybe as a consultant, maybe as a future addition, maybe as one more experienced piece in a structure that's already stacked with high-level football minds. Imagining this staff, which is already loaded, adding yet another seasoned voice has big implications for the future. And while the fan base was still processing that possibility, another storyline hit that cranked the emotional dial in Foxborough even higher. When that Week 12 win pushed the Patriots to 10-2, a lot of people on the outside rushed to frame the season as a surprise, a favorable schedule, or just a hot streak. But anyone locked into this team every week knows there's more to it than luck. Consistency finally showed up. The culture started to matter again. And this group learned how to win close games, something that had been missing for years. So when the latest power rankings dropped, Patriots Nation went off. Seeing New England near the top of the AFC, right there with the Rams, lit a fire that many thought had been out since 2019. Of course, the Rams comparison came in hot. These are two franchises that have crossed paths in huge moments, first as the underdog breakthrough, later as the closing chapter of an old dynasty. Now, with Mike Vrabel on the sideline, Drake May growing up fast, and a disciplined defense behind him, the obvious question is back. Are we watching the start of a new reign in New England? But along with all the hype came the tougher part of the breakdown: injuries. National outlets highlighted the same issue. Losing Will Campbell, Milton Williams, and Jared Wilson at the same time changes everything. Those are three important pieces, all right in the middle of the physical war that December football becomes. For a young team, losing that much muscle in the trenches this late makes every projection shakier. Another point the media raised was the schedule. Yes, New England has faced its share of beatable opponents. But that doesn't erase what they've built. Mediocre teams slip up in those spots. The Patriots haven't. They've handled business with poise and weekly adjustments. And that leads to the question keeping a lot of fans up at night. Is Drake May ready for January football? He's playing at a high level, making smart decisions, taking care of the ball. But the playoffs are a different universe. It's tense silence, razor-thin margins, and those third and long snaps that define an entire season. No rookie really knows what that feels like until they walk into that huddle with everything on the line. For now, all roads lead to Monday Night Football against the Giants, a 2-10 team that, on paper, should not scare a 10-2 contender. But nothing is ever that simple. The struggle against the Bengals was a blunt reminder. This group can't afford to relax. One flat start, one sloppy night, and the whole narrative can flip from legit Super Bowl contender to warning light flashing in a hurry. That's exactly where this team is living right now. On the edge between a real Super Bowl dream and the risk of stumbling at the worst possible time. One strong, dominant performance reignites all the talk about a new era in New England. One ugly loss hands the critics everything they need. Patriots Nation. After a day with so many twists and turns, it's clear we're watching something rare. A rookie trying to hit his breakout at the perfect time. An offensive line being rebuilt in the middle of the fight. A coaching staff growing deeper. And a young team staring down the power rankings like an invitation to prove who they really are. All of that is pushing New England into brand new territory, full of promise and full of pressure. So I'll leave you with one simple question. Are we witnessing the birth of a new Patriots reign? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your take in the comments, because this story is only getting started.